Welcome to Tiny Pep Talks for Step Parents, a short weekly podcast with new episodes every Sunday. For today's pep talk, we blended the hard way, so you don't have to. You might feel like you're going through these step parenting challenges alone, but I promise you are not alone. Every month, Google sends me a helpful little summary telling me how people find blended family frappe. The latest search terms that folks used: unhappy step parent, high conflict co-parenting, and I don't like my stepkids. It'd be easy to look at this list as dark or depressing, but that's not how I see it. Instead, I'm so thankful that the step parents who are out there looking for this kind of help have found their way here, because the only reason to search for this stuff in the first place is if you feel too isolated and alone to speak those feelings out loud. And that used to be me too, Googling things like, why does my stepdaughter hate me at 2 a.m. while feeling so lost and ashamed, and then getting 0 results and feeling even more horrible. My frustration over the lack of resources for step parents who are truly struggling is what led me to eventually start this platform, because no one should have to feel like that. A couple weeks ago, I announced that we're closing at the end of the month, and so many of you shared such kind words. I cried multiple times. To have helped so many of you so much is truly humbling. If I'm honest, I felt like a bit of a fraud when I published my first blog post. The question of whether our own family would ever feel blended was still very much up in the air. I was still grieving what I thought we could have been or should have been. I was still carrying anger and resentment at feeling like our chance of ever being a quote-unquote real family had been stolen from us. I wondered how I could possibly help anyone else when I couldn't even fix our own problems. Plus, I still wasn't 100% convinced that there were other families out there experiencing the same messed up dynamics that we were. Maybe there was just something really wrong with us. And it turns out, nope, it wasn't just us. Nor were we broken. We just didn't have the right support. And people weren't talking about this stuff back then, about being unhappy as a step parent or how a toxic ex can affect your family's ability to blend. I am so relieved that's changing. Case in point, my friend Kristen is hosting StepmomCon 2026 next week, where there's going to be an entire presentation on not loving your stepkids. There's also going to be resources to help with feeling like an outsider in your own home, with helping set boundaries, with navigating high conflict. And that's just a few of the 20 plus speakers showing up at this thing, which is totally free to attend, by the way. I will leave a link to grab your free ticket down in the show notes. I have mixed feelings about closing down, but it really helps to know that the new era of step parenting resources out there are finally talking about the hard topics. Events like this are such a far cry from the sparse and superficial garbage that was out there when I was a new and struggling stepmom. I'm so relieved that's not you. While you might not feel particularly lucky in your current situation, at least you're going through this learning curve at a time when there are actual resources to help you get clarity on what's going to work best for you and your step family. And that can help you connect with other step parents facing similar challenges, which is maybe the most important thing along this road for all of us to know, that as alone as we might feel when we're Googling step parenting problems in the middle of the night, we are not alone. Other step parents have stood where you're standing, and the stigma is shifting enough for us to share that knowledge with each other. Finally. If you're listening to this by podcast, please check the show notes for a link to the full transcript over on Substack, along with a link to sign up for your free ticket to StepmomCon 26. We would love to see you over there. Also, a heads up, our private community closes its door on April 27th. So if you want more hands-on support or my personal take on your situation, now is the time. There's a link in the show notes for you to join us.